Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I've got 3 replays for you in the Tier 8 Mercenary Premium Medium Tank, the Mantis. So as always, before I get started, we'll just go over the equipment and the perks that I run on the Mantis. So to start off with, on the equipment I've got Optics, Camo Net and Vert Stabs. And on the perks I have Born Leader, Sixth Sense, Rapid Reload, Situation Awareness, Steady Aim, Camouflage Expertise, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and for a final perk, if I was gonna, properly fill this crew, which I haven't at this stage, I'll run Silent Driving. So, yeah, the Mantis. This is a mercenary tank that got added probably about 2 years ago now, if I remember rightly, a year or two, maybe a bit longer. But followed on from the original Mercenary concept that came out in 2018, which some will argue that it was not a really great invention by wargamers, should we say. Personally, I wasn't too fast. I thought it was something different, I guess. But anyway, so the second part came along a couple of years back, and the Mantis was a tank that came at such time. If I'm being completely honest, without going into sort of the good and bad points straight away, going straight to conclusion, this thing is, I would say, one of the most strongest, borderline broken tier 8 tanks in the game. Because it's just phenomenal. I mean, look, the good points about it, you've got this fantastic mobility to start off with. You've got top forward speed of 63 kilometers an hour, 20 kilometers an hour reverse speed. You've got good camo on it. Still you're 328 meters, but that's base. So when you think about all sort of your camo, your camo net and your camo perks that you would run on this tank, and I've run predominant gun perks on this as well. I've done almost like a bit of a split between gun perks, camo perks. So if you went full camo perk on this, you could pretty much make this insanely good on its camo. Its view range is 400 meters, so which I think is fantastic for a tier 8 medium tank. Again, sort of that's on light tank territory in terms of view range. Again, that's base. So when you think about optics, your situation awareness that you run on this, you've whacked that probably right up to do over 500 meters on that. You've got good shell velocity on your heat rounds. You've got good penetration on your heat rounds as well at 280, which is pretty decent at tier 8. You've got a 2-second entry clip, 8 degrees of gun depression. You've got 2.1 second aim time. You've got great power to weight ratio of 33 horsepower per ton. You've got 12% fire chance, and you have this weird trolley armor, because the makeup of the Mantis is essentially a Russian hull, which I'm going to have a stab at. I think it's based off of the LTG light tank at tier 7. Quote me on that if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me, because I will always confess that I never get these completely 100% right, although I do try. But we know the turret is definitely an American turret off the T69, and the gun is also off the T69. Hence why you've got this 4-shot auto loader. So yeah, but it has this troll kind of armor. Now the turret, you can bounce quite a lot off the turret, because when you think about the T69, it's it's a ridgeline tank. It has does have some good turret armor. So you can get some weird bounces, but do you know what? Playing against this is really frustrating, because even on the hull, there's been times I've shot the hull and I've managed to bounce that as well. So yeah, it just has this weird trolley armor, which just makes it feel like it's just, I don't know, just somehow real fluky. There's just been times I've come up against it and I've thought, these players are so ridiculously lucky. So no, if that was me on the other foot, I would probably die. I guess you could look at it as that's just luck of the draw, isn't it? It's RNG, deal with it. So yeah, but it's just insanely good. It has some real good. It has a lot of good things going for it. In terms of bad points, I mean, the shell velocity on the AP rounds, it's under 1,000, so not great. You've got to lead your shots. It's also got 0.36 accuracy and 2.46 accuracy on turret rotation. So yes, that's a bit of a drawback, but it needs to be, because otherwise, again, this tank just becomes insanely OP if it doesn't have those bad points. If it doesn't have a gun that can be a little bit trolly or has that poor accuracy stats. You got 26.5 second reload on base as well, but that in itself, I don't think it's too much of an issue. You're not on reload for very long. I've got 1,200 hit points, so okay, I guess, and technically the hull armor should be weak and should be easy to pen, which it is, but like I say, you just have those. It can be quite trolly, it can bounce weird angles, you can bounce off those angles. So on paper, it looks weak, but in reality, it's a whole different kettle of fish. But 1,200 hit points, easy to get ruined basically if you get hit, and particularly if you're playing bottom tier. But when you have this fantastic concealment, the great view range, you can abuse those camo mechanics really well. And this, I would say, is near enough. It's pretty much a light tank. It's dressed up as a medium, and that's even worse because you can get away with running the silent driving perk, which you can't on a light tank because the game doesn't allow it, but you can on medium. So the fact that it's got this great mobility, it's just insanely good. It's just my view on it. I just think it really is a good medium tank / hybrid light tank. That's effectively what it is. Same as a Barask. It has that similar playstyle. Use it as a light tank. Moving on to gameplay then. We've pretty much chewed the fat on the good and bad points and what I think of the tank. So let's get into the gameplay. Now the first map, we are on Nomohan, and we are platooned up with Mass, and we're platooned up with Kingpin as well. We've done okay damage wise, and weirdly enough we've been going on about how good a spotter is. We've only got 438 assists, but we are on, I would say, we're on the worst spawn of Nomohan. So if we're on the other side, I would expect to have got a lot more assist, because obviously I would have been playing that ridge that's on D4. Everyone knows that when you play sort of this spawn, the red spawn as it is on this map at this point, going across, you can get a hell of a lot of assist because everyone camps at the back. But we're on the bad spawn, but now we're coming into our own. It's the late game. I mean, there's only 2 artillery left, and we're going to be sort of pretty much one of the first to get over there and manage to get some shots off. So, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Master's in the artillery, so we've lit him up for him to start pounding away. Now we can see the other artillery that has been lit up by our light tank, and we've got a full clip, so we're just going to get this clip into him. And there we go, put him down to a 1-shot. We picked up 4.3k damage, and we got 3 kills there. The enemy FE artillery goes down, and I expect the Vanguard would probably more likely finish off this M12. However, we're going to go in, and I'm going to give him a little love tap, because why not? And there we go. It was actually Kingpin in the artillery, not Mass. Mass was playing the Shashka. Well, it's just I always usually expect Mass to be in the artillery. But anyway, we come top of the board. We got just under 4.5k damage there with 3 kills, with just over 1,000 assistance. We picked up the high caliber and the first class in that game. So that's the first replay out of the way. Like I say, we've chewed the fat on the Mantis. So second replay here, we're actually bottom tier, and we're on Redshire. So a nice open map where we can play this effectively, and we can potentially abuse the view range camo mechanics to our advantage to be able to pick up some juicy assistance. Now on Redshire, I like to go straight to the middle, and I like to basically light up the cross. Now the danger obviously with this, apart from driving into houses, is that you can get obviously counter spotted from the other side. Now I think the next replay, we're on Redshire again, spoiler alert, but I think we're on the other spawn, so this is actually quite a good demonstration of showing you where, the positions I play on each spawn. So okay, we haven't initially gone up to the spot that I would do, which is the ridge in E8 around there, because obviously being counter spotted, we've just pulled back. But now we've managed to spot a heavy tank, and now we're going to actually move into the position I wanted to get to early doors, but unfortunately we got counter spotted and I had to pull back. But we're going to make that play now, and we're going to try and see if we can spot some tank destroyers or any tanks that are up on this ridge, and just be a bit of a nuisance. We've been targeted and we've been lit, so I'm just getting down into the ravine here, just going under the bridge, just basically pulling back to a position where I can play safe. Tried snapping a shot into that light tank. We're on the move. I'm not going to stop because obviously I am lit. If I stop and I'm targeted, I'm going to get shot, and I'm more likely going to get a huge chunk of hit points taken off me. At this moment of the game, it's just all about keeping stuff lit, and just, I am driving a bit of a madman, but the Mantis has that mobility to play the active spotter. You can play a passive spotter as well, don't get me wrong, but while we're lit, while we've got stuff in and around us, bottom tier as well, it's just better to be keeping on the move and just to try and ensure that we keep our hit points as best as possible. Now we've got this Barask moving in. I was looking at that Panzer 7, but then this Barask was looking like it was going to charge us, but then thought better of it, got hit, and then definitely thought better of it, and decided to pull back. We've got this one of the Yo tanks coming in, who looks like he's getting a bit fed up with me YOLOing around, has decided to turn his attention to us. I'm going to just pull in this ravine. Now this Yo tank has decided that he really has had enough of me, and he's going to come barreling in to try and take us out. This isn't ideal, but we let him get a shot into us. He does damage our engine, but we managed to get that shot in and finish him off. We did take another shot from the hill there, and we are pretty much underneath half our hit points now, so we do need to be careful. We're practically going to be a one shot for any tier 10 tank destroyer or heavy tank. Tanks like this, this is it the Panzer 7 or the VK? Yeah, the VK is, we're definitely a one shot to that VK if he rolls high enough. So yeah, again, we're just sort of looking at opportunities now to try and get shots in. We're looking at this Panzer 7. Going to try and see if we can put some shots into the rear. We do, managing to pick up our second kill of the game. We're up to 2.1k assist here. Only 695 damage. But like I say, it's mainly been about being the light tank, being the spotter. And considering all our light tanks are now dead, it's more important than ever that I basically stay alive for as long as possible, don't do anything stupid, and just keep poking this ridge and just being a complete nuisance. And that's basically what the Mantis is. It's just a complete nuisance because it's so good at spotting. So I've let my sixth sense sort of go off and wait to get unspotted, and then we're going to poke up again. I'd like to get underneath the ridge, and that was going to be my initial play, but then this Barask comes in. We do track him. He's just fired both his shots. I would like to take this Barask out, but I think better of it than sort of YOLOing around. But then I think I'm going to go in for another go here, try and get rid of this Barask, because it would be, yeah, it'd be great if we could, and the M103 does do that. It takes out the Barask. That's another danger. Again, the Mantis and the Barask are similar in terms of how they play, how good they can be at that spot and roll. And I've always said that whether, you know, if you've got your light tanks out, whether it's a Brask or a Mantis left, that is your next priority to take out, because that is effectively your only vision, or the enemy's only vision. It is a good spotting tank. So yeah, getting rid of that Brask means, you know, it gives us more control. The enemy Mantis has gone down, at least 3 tanks left, so we kind of need to, you know, get stuck in now. Original is going to go and try and take out that Mantis, but he gets taken out. We've effectively shut down all their vision now. We're going to go in on this heavy tank and try and see if we can finish him off. We do finish off that T58 for our final kill. The Waffle is on the hill, just basically RBRT there. And now we're going to move in whilst we're on reload to try and see if we can pick up any more damage. The Waffle seems to me like he's on reload, so I think I can go in pretty comfortably without worrying about taking any shots here. I am a one-shot to the Waffle. To be fair, if I was to go down at this point, then I wouldn't be too worried. I'm surprised I bounced that first shot, but you know, not to worry. Managed to get the last shot into his tracks there, and we do put him onto one shot. And there we go. He gets finished off by the Jagdpanther 2, bringing an end to replay number 2 there. So let's see how we got on. We move on to the victory board, and yeah, come top of the board. Not the biggest damage games, only 2.1k damage, but 6.5k assist. Again, just goes to show how good that Mantis is at spotting. Get the patrol juice. We've got the Levashiko medal, or whatever that is, and the first class medal as well. So we're going to move on to the third and final replay now, where again we're on Redshire. And okay, this is not right. Okay, so this is encounter mode. So I thought we were standard battle, we were on the other side, but it's encounter mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to get up to the hill and basically try and spot across. You know, both teams are set up sort of opposite each other. So my play really is, well, similar to the last game, is get up to this little, where this house is, get up to this vantage point. This is where you'll spot the cross, and there we go, we've spotted the cross there. I think we've got mass in artillery here, so again, just going to sort of poke here. I'm facing the tank away so that I can basically get out of dodge. Should I need to, if the enemies, if I get spotted, I can just get out quickly and run. Picked up a little bit of assistance here, not as much as I would have liked, but it is starting to rack up now. I was expecting to see a fair few more tanks crossing the line, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think they've played smart and they've sort of taken quite a wide berth as they've moved around. Kind of thinking about getting some shots into this TVP here if I can. We get the first shot in, there's a bush in between us, then we get lit there, so that TD I think has probably spot us up, but we snap some shots in there, taking out that TVP for our first kill, and a real good start to the game there. We picked up 820 damage with just over 1200 assistance, so really good start to the game. And there's still 14 tanks available here, so we've got plenty of opportunities here for big damage, some more assist, and I'm hoping that's what we can do here. Decide to get a shot into the G-Saw there. Unfortunately, G-Saw does get a shot into us, but we're gonna get in behind these houses. We sneak another shot in there, picking up our second kill of the game, taking out a dangerous tier 8 tank destroyer there. But now I'm on reload, and I'm just going to sort of hover around again, just sort of whilst I've got my reload sort of happening here. I can kind of assess the situation, see where I can move next. So one thing I like about the Mantis, and particularly autoloaders like this in general, gives you time to think, to move around, to assess your next move, rather than, like I said before, sometimes with real crazy DPM tanks, you can get caught up in what's in front of you, and you forget what's around you, and you also forget to plan ahead and sort of look at your next move. Where can you get your next bit of damage from? Where can you get your next bit of assist from? And that's precisely what I'm doing here. I'm just pushing the game forwards, really, or trying to, just because the enemy are sort of being quite depleted here. And we don't pick up any assists from that, and I think that's just because obviously the heavy tanks are advancing quite quickly, so a lot of them have probably got the assist. But I've managed to light up artillery here. Now I don't want to take a nasty shot from artillery. I do take a shot from the Leopard though, which isn't great, but I'm hoping that, yeah, we can pick up some assists there. The GW Tiger gets taken out, so that's artillery taken care of, and the Leopard obviously gets put down to at least half health, if not more. So now I can push on, try and spot up this Leopard. I was looking to see if we get a shot in that TD, but he's behind that ridge, so that's not possible. But this Leopard is now 500 hit points. I'm being lit, I'm being targeted. A snapper shot in there on the move. We talk about, yeah, this is the other thing. We talked about how bad, or the accuracy is not that great on the move, and yet we can snap shots off like that. So sometimes the statistics really don't quite tell the true story, I don't think. But yeah, we managed to get some shots into that Roswell there, and he gets taken out quite quickly. Again, going to move in, just try and sort of get as much assistance as possible. There's only 4 tanks left. 12v4, the game is pretty much over. It's a foregone conclusion. Again, it's just about what we can pick up. Going to try and see if we can squeeze a shot into that object 257 there. It'd be great to pick up the kill. We fluffed the second shot, but we do get the third shot in, and there we go. Mass takes out the the final tank, and we pick up the win. So let's see how we got on them before we say our goodbyes. So we got 3.2k damage, 4 kills, 4.4k assisted. A much better game there on the damage front. Picking up the ace tanker as well. So yeah, I had a fantastic game there. And like I say, the map site Redshire is where this thing can really come alive. And yeah, you can see for yourself the Mantis. It's just a crazy tank. I honestly don't know what Wargaming were thinking when they come out with this. Built it so strong. But there we go. It's out. It's not going to change. I very much doubt it will get a nerf. So yeah, have you guys got it? If you have, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the Mantis. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, guys, please like and subscribe, because it does help the channel. And as always, I'll catch you next time.
Uh-oh.